Hello students. Uh, Last time we had the explanation part of a roadside stand. I think first few stanzas were over. This time we will be resuming our journey ahead towards the climax of the poem. So far we have studied and made the exposition around 3 or 4 stanzas. We'll have the resumption of the poem right now. Let me recap the following what has happened so far in the poem. A roadside stand, as it was explained earlier, and that the poet presents a grim and grey picture of the poor rurals who are deprived of the city money as well as even the basic amenities, and in the expectance, in the hope to get some city money, they have put up a stand close to public highway so that they can offer something to those wealthy city dwellers who are moving in the cars or in their luxurious vehicle there. But the plight of the life of these poor stand owners is that none from the city dwellers stops their car or make a purchase, make a bargain, okay, from him or from those roadside stand owners there. Really the miseries and the cost of the roadside stand owner continues forward. Figure of speech so far have been used, 2 of them. First one pathetically played, the alliteration used, and second one was transfer epithet. I am explaining the second one, transfer epithet, which was more complicated, more challenging, one more time. A transfer epithet is what I want you to make down a note with some examples also, so that your comprehension, your understanding can be easy one. Transfer epithet actually is a literary device where the poet uses a modifier. Modifier usually remains an adjective that qualifies a noun other than the person or a thing which is actually being described in the lines itself there. The transfer epithet used in police traffic. How? The police traffic, the phrase contains transfer epithet is in it. Polished traffic. Traffic cannot be polished, first of all. It is the person who is sitting in the car, in the vehicle, okay, he has got gentlemanly, wealthy, opulent appearance. He is polished, not the traffic. So it is actually just shifting of an animate to an inanimate one there. How? Polished are the people, and the traffic is obviously a non-living thing or inanimate thing there. Other examples of transfer epithet, we can have many of them, such as sleepless nights, restless nights, a wonderful day, unhappy marriage, unfortunate day, unfortunate life. So you see, first of all, transfer epithet is a blend of 2 words. First will be adjective, animate. Second will be noun, inanimate one. How we can have it again? Polished are the people and traffic is the vehicle, inanimate one. And polished are the people, obviously animate one. The sleepless nights cannot be sleepless, but the people who have got some anxiety, who have got some worries, who have got some difficulties there, okay, they can't sleep well. Therefore, they undergo sleepless nights there. So sleepless nights, another example of transfer epithet. One more I told, unhappy marriage. Marriage cannot be happy or unhappy. The people who are hitched, who are engaged, okay, who are there in this pious rite or ritual, they can be happy or they can be unhappy there. So that was the important figure of speech used in the poem, transfer epithet. Let us resume the journey from The heart, the city wouldn't be my complaint. That was the last line I gathered. I explained that. Means the people, the city dwellers who are riding in their luxurious car, they make a complaint because they think that this grotesque imposition of this roadside stand has marred the beauty of the surrounding landscape, which is very bewitching, which is very fascinating, which is very enticing there. Their attitude towards this roadside stand owner is absolutely nonchalant, Nonchalant. Use the word nonchalant for callous, for indifferent attitude shown by the rich city dwellers to these miserable, these pathetic roadside stand owner. Start the journey so much as the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. Underline the phrase trusting sorrow, trusting sorrows, unwanted sorrows, trusting sorrows, unwanted, unwanted, unwanted sorrows. Second word is there, unsaid. Unsaid here means not in the concern, not in the notice of the concerned authority. Unsaid, unexplained, neglected. The bizarre condition of the roadside stand owner and the villagers have not brought up in the notice neither to the media or to the authorities or to the people of the cities there. Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand and ask for some city money to fill in hand. Let us start the journey again. So much as the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. What is trusting sorrow there? Underline it, trusting sorrow, and write the explanation it. Actually, the poor rurals place their trust in the fake, in the false, in the dubious promises made by the rich city people, rich businessmen, politicians, bureaucrats, and the political leaders at large there. And why the promises are called fake and false and trickery's one? Because the promises made to these poor rustics or the poor rurals are never fulfilled. That causes sorrow and suffering in the heart of these poor rustics there. So what is the root cause of this sorrows, and how this sorrow is caused? Due to the trust, blind trust reposed on the promises, or the false promises I must say, by the poor rulers in those political leaders, politicians, ruling parties, or the rich businessmen or the rich city people there. And when the promises made to these poor rurals are not fulfilled, obviously that consequently will cause lot of anxiety, lot of sorrows, lot of suffering in the heart of these poor rurals or the poor villagers or the roadside stand owner or the poor people of the villages there. That is being referred here as the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. What is unsaid here means that the real condition, the pathos, the plight, the sorrowful condition, the miseries of these poor rurals have not been brought up in the very kind notice of the media, of the ruling party, of the political leaders, or the authority concerned there. They are unattended, they are neglected. So far, none has come to really solve, really give a decent life to these poor rurals. It is always unsaid. Unsaid here refers to, and please make a note out of it, the plight and the sorrowful state of these poor rurals have not been brought into the very kind notice of media or the ruling party or the ruling government here, or the political leaders or the politicians or the bureaucrats there or the businessmen there. They are often neglected. Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand. The roadside stand owner is making it clear that he has erected he has put up a roadside stand obviously at the public highway. Okay, far from the city. Obviously, they are living in the villages, so the villages are distant from the city. Obviously, in the expectation, in the hope, and ask for some city money to feel in hand there. Underline the city money and feel in hand. Feel in hand, purchase, actually, really to purchase something in their hand. And city money is obviously, when we talk about village money or the city money, village money often is meager, insufficient, small quantity. But when we talk about city money, it is huge, it is enormous, it is mammoth, it is colossal, like that. So they have put up the stand in order to get some rich, in order to get some real money from the rich city people there. And they wish to have in hand. They want to purchase, they want to have some city money considerably bigger than what we get from the village money there. So they want to have a big share of the city money to make their living or to give themselves an economically more life or satisfied life there, so that they can have some financial rise in their life also by getting some share of the city money in their hand, to feel in their hand, to really purchase it, to really purchase. They really want to own some share from the city money, which is huge, which is big, which is a mammoth from there. In the expectation of that only, he has put up a stand at the roadsides there. And ask for some city money to feel in hand, to try if it will not make our being expand. And this effort is put, they have put up a try, okay, by putting up a stand in order to make our being, our life, expand, to improve, expand to improve. They must understand these rich city people, opulent people, wealthy people, whose attitude toward them is nonchalant, is very much indifferent, very much callous, very much negative, I must say there. Okay, the poet's tone is getting exasperated there, is annoyed by the nonchalant attitude of the rich city people toward these roadside stand-owner or the poor people of the villages there. Okay, in the hope, in the expectance, in the want of getting some rich city money or having a moderate life, a decent life, they have put up a stand there, so that they can have some improvement, some sophistication, some sort of luxuries, okay, amenities in their life there. In that hope, they have put up a stand there, and give us to try if it will not make our being expand there. Feel in hand, to try. It is the association of the words there. They want the city money to feel in their own hand, to put up a try to improve their life. There is no other reason why they have put up the roadside stand near the public highway, where the host of luxurious car of the city people are just busy in to and fro. And give us the life of the moving pictures, promise that the party in power is said to be getting from us there, and give us the life of the moving pictures. Underline the word, the life of the moving pictures. They have watched the movies, many movies, where the people have the journey from poverty to prosperity. And such life is promised by the ruling party, by the ruling government, by the political leaders, by the bureaucrats, by the rich businessmen. But these promises never meant to be fulfilled, never meant to get some sort of intensity or seriousness there. Promises made to them meant to be broken. Let me explain it again. To give us refers to the rurals, the poor rurals, the poor villagers. The life of the moving pictures. Moving pictures life generally remains very much sophisticated, full of luxuries, full of sophistication, full of advancement, full of what you can say, grit there, full of lights there, full of glamour there. Such life, okay, is promised by the ruling party, the political leaders, to these poor villagers there. But these promises never are fulfilled there. They and give us the life of the moving pictures, promise that the party in power is said to be keeping from us there. How these luxurious or so-called great life is keeping from them by these people or by the ruling party? Very easy to be understood there. When the election time comes or happens there, okay, the leaders of all the political party approach to these poor rurals and make abundance of the promises. If they will be doing this, they will be doing that, they need not worry. If they cast their vote, the precious votes to them. But these promises happened merely are the election bets. Election bets there, not more than. They are the trickeries put up by these political parties. They actually allure these what you can say, gullible poor people, Gullible, gullible, who can be easily be fooled, who can be easily distracted there, diverts there. So these gullible poor people are allured by these political party leaders during the course of election time that they will be doing this, they will be doing that. But all those promises are never fulfilled. Not those, not a single promise they fulfill there. And so-called sophisticated life, the dreams which they have shown during the course of election, okay, they are keeping those great things from these poor rurals there. Means those alluring promises which they have made with these poor rurals, they don't keep their words. They are keeping those luxurious life away from these poor rurals there. Because the advantages, the projects, the welfare projects or the planning or the schemes, okay, which are made by the people, by the government, okay, those benefits never reach to these poor rurals on the way. In between only, these political leaders or the ruling party exhort that money in their malicious hand, and they don't let that money to reach into the hands of these poor rurals there. Therefore, they are depriving the rural or the poor rurals of these money or the welfare or the projects or the schemes which once were promised by them during the course of election. And I use the word, those promises are merely election bets there, trickeries they are, and once they win it and they forget it, all of them. It is in the news that all these pitiful kin, underline the word pitiful kin are these poor people of the villages. It is in the media, it is in the newspaper, it is in the television. News has been spread. It may be a rumor, right? It is in the news, it is in the public media or the print media that these poor people, pitiful kin, miserable people, pitiful kin, pathetic people, here people of the villages are to be bought out, underline the word bought out, relocated, bought out, relocated, and mercifully gathered in to live in villages next to theatre and the stores there. Again, the political bets continues, the election bet continues there. It is in the news, in the paper as well as print media or the public media or the media or the social media or the television that the political leaders have come to these villages and requested them to relocate these poor rurals very close to the city life, very close to the urban areas. Near which places? Near theatre and the store, shopping malls. Store here, shopping mall there. And why they have promised? Because they want all the precious votes of these poor villagers there. So it is in the news that these poor villagers will be relocated from the village, what you can say, a bizarre, a grotesque surrounding of their village. They will be taken off and they will be relocated. They will be given new dwellings, new residence near the urban areas where they can have an easy access to the theatre, cinema mall, or the shopping complex very easily there. And these are election bets. Don't forget these words there. To live in the villages next to the theatre or the cinema hall or the shopping mall where they won't have to think for themselves anymore. And during the course of election, when the parties of varied form came to their door and begged, requested, and convinced them and that, oh, if they cast their vote to their party, obviously they are not supposed to think their life after that anymore. Once they cast their all-important vote to that party, they are supposed to forget all their miseries, all their sorrows, because their sorrows belong to them. Such alluring promises made by the political parties with these poor rustics, because they are gullible, they are easily trapped in these alluring promises there. And what is the promise of these political parties to these poor rulers? That if they cast their all-important vote to them in their favor, to support them, they are supposed to forget all their miseries, all their sorrows, all their suffering. Means those leaders, those political parties or the politicians will handle all the miseries of these poor rurals if condition applied, provided they cast their vote to them for themselves anymore. While greedy good doers, beneficent beast of prey. It is one of the most important lines of the stanza as well as the entire poem. Please underline it. While greedy good doers, underline the greedy good doers, the figure of speech is used, oxymoron. Oxymoron, O-X-Y-M-O-R-O-N, oxymoron. The same figure of speech in the line continues, beneficent beast of prey. Beneficent beast of prey, underline it. Oxymoron again, or if it is asked in MCQs and where is no oxymoron for option and only alliteration, then obviously you should stick with alliteration. Or if it is asked in one line answer without having any MCQs, you should write oxymoron, O-X-Y-M-O-R-O-N. When the two contrast words are used in line of a poem, it is known as oxymoron, O-X-Y-M-O. And which two contrasting words are used here? Greedy, good doers. If person is greedy, he cannot be good doer. Or if he is good doer, he can't be greedy. Second one, beneficent. Here the benefactors. Beneficent, benefactors who give some benefit to someone is called benefactors, beneficent. And beneficiaries are the poor rustics. So beneficiaries are the poor rustics. Beneficent or the benefactors will be these political parties, the ruling party, the politician, the bureaucrats, the businessmen, the rich businessmen. They can be called the beneficent beast of prey and the greedy good doers. So first of all, the figure of speech used, greedy good doers, beneficent beast of prey, is oxymoron. Second thing you got to, who are called greedy good doers and the beneficent beast of prey? The political leaders, the politicians, the ruling party, the rich businessmen who are crook, who are malicious, who are avaricious, who are greedy, who are, what you can say, rogue, absolutely crook, they are there. They want their own selfish gain only to be fulfilled and help, that's it only there. So greedy good doers are the politicians, the rich businessmen, the bureaucrats, the ruling party. Beneficent beast of prey. Here, beneficent beast of prey. If somebody is beast, obviously these politicians, ruling party, political leaders, businessmen, and prey are the victims. Victims, the poor people of the villages there. So if somebody is beneficent, he cannot be beast. Or if somebody is beast, he cannot be a beneficent there. So figure of speech used, oxymoron. So what is to be understood by this line? The poet, by using oxymoron, depicted a grim and grey picture, created the reality which is very harsh in this line there. Greedy good doers are those ruling party, businessmen, political leaders, or the politicians, or the rich businessmen, or the bureaucrats who exploit these poor, gullible rural people there by their trickeries, by their false promises, by their fake promises there. Swarm over their lives. They swarm, they attack, they invade, they spread, swarm, spread over these poor rurals there, over their lives, over them, enforcing, exhorting, enforcing, exhorting, taking undue advantage, exploiting, exhorting, enforcing, taking undue advantage, benefits, advantage there that are calculated to soothe them there. Soothe them, comfort them. Soothe them, comfort them. So who is exploiting whom? By doing what? By, underline it please there. By making some calculated planning, please do write, by making some calculated planning and trickeries, these crook politicians and the businessmen exploit these poor rulers and extort the money. Which money they extort? The money which was supposed to benefit these poor rurals. So how to expand the meaning of that? Government many times make projects for the welfare of these poor rurals there. Schemes are made many, projects are made many, and in order to benefit these. But the money which was initiated by the government's fund never reached to these poor people. It goes into the malicious hands of these businessmen and the politicians for their own selfish motives. They use it and they don't let that money into the hands of these poor rurals there. And they take benefit out of that money. Who deserve to get that money? Who deserve to get the share of that money, big share of that money? The poor rurals. What are the money benefactors refers to here? The benefactors, obviously those social projects, those welfare projects or the schemes or the plan, obviously initiated by the government for the welfare of these poor rurals. But these political leaders or the politicians or the ruling party make benefit, make profit out of that money. They use these pennies or this money for their own selfish motives, for their own selfish gains, and never let that money to be used in the welfare of these poor rurals there. Some of their lives enforcing, exhorting benefits, profits, they are calculated to soothe them, comfort them out of their wits. Underline, soothe them out of the wits. During the course of election there, they make false promises many, they make promises many, they give a lot of allurance there, they make a lot of promises there in order to comfort them, out of their wits there. You see, the poor rurals are not brainy, they are gullible, they are very much sensitive actually. Instinctively they are sensitive there. They are underfed economically there. So they don't have the mind, they don't have the wits to really understand these manipulations, these tricks made by these politicians or the ruling party or the rich businessmen there. So by the excuse, by the pretense that they will be giving them a comfortable life, they really steal all their wits there. And once these poor gullible rurals are told to give a good life there, a comfortable life there, they repose, they place their trust in those false promises there, and eventually, consequently, become sorrowful also when they come to know that the promises made to them never meant to be fulfilled there. Soothe, comfort them. out of their wits. That wits here, intelligence, brain, means the people of the rurals or the rural areas are not brain enough to understand the plans, the manipulation, the tricks of these politicians, ruling party leaders, as well as the rich businessmen there, who have trapped them in their schemes, in their tricks there very easily, very easily. And by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day. By teaching how to sleep, they sleep, underline their word. By teaching them, by making them understand that if they would listen to them, if they would cast their vote in their favor, if they would be abided by the what they have said or they are asked to do, if they agree to the proposals, if they listen and compliance, make their compliance in the favor of these political party and the businessman, they would be able to sleep all night very comfortably there, very comfortably there. They need not to have any worry, any anxiety, any concern for their life ahead of it there. They will be enjoying all the perks, they will be enjoying all the luxuries of life, and they would be able to sleep well, sleep well during the course of night there. Once they have given their all precious votes into the favor, or if they are complied with their agreement, yes, they would be having a sound sleep during the course of night. They need not to be worried, concerned anymore. And by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day, destroy their sleeping at night, the ancient way there. Oh my God, you see, unfortunate there. By making a false promise that they have promised them to give them a sophisticated, comfortable, luxurious life, having no worry, having no anxiety, having no concern there, actually they steal their sound sleep there. How? When the false promises full of allurement, full of enticement, full of fascination, full of attraction, during the course of election I'm talking about there. Obviously, they get their mind trapped in those allures, in those alluring promises there. But once these poor, gullible rurals come to the realization that those promises, those alluring promises will not be fulfilled by these ruling party or by these political leaders or by these rich, mighty businessmen there, they can't sleep well there. And who sleep comfortably? These rich, the politicians are sleeping well there. When they get all precious vote there, when the rurals are complied with their agreement and the proposal and the approval there, they sleep well. And they steal the sound sleep of these poor villagers by extorting their money, by extorting their welfare in their malicious hand, and they don't let that money to reach into the welfare of these poor rurals there. Let me read that line again. And by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day. They here refers to the rich, mighty businessmen and the politicians there. Destroy. Obviously, they don't let these poor rurals to have a sound sleep. Once the promises are broken, these poor rurals cannot sleep well there. At night and the ancient way. Underline the ancient way. The exploitation of the poor people by the hands, in the hands of the rich people is not a thing of a recent past. It is a thing of a distant past there. So as the poor have been exploited by the mighty and the rich people in the same manner, since I think the human civilization, since the dawn of civilization, the poor have been exploited by the rich and the mighty people. In the same manner, these poor ones also or will keep on exalted, will keep on exploited by these rich and the mighty people, businessmen, and the political leaders of the city. Sometimes I feel myself I can hardly bear. Now the tone of the poet is getting exasperated, is annoyed, is dejected, is distraught, is unhappy, is lugubrious, is dismal, is dejected, is not happy, is cheerless. Sometimes I feel myself I can hardly bear. He can't see, he can't tolerate the plight, the sadness, the anxiety, the sorrow, the suffering, the woes of these poor rurals there. He can't see it anymore. The thought of so much childish longing in vain. Underline the word childish longing in vain. The thought. What is the thought? The thought of the roadside stand owner is highlighted here. And what is the thought of the roadside stand owner? The thought that day would come when a rich city dweller would stop his car and would make some bargain, would make some purchase from him, would be buying something from him. This is the thought. And this thought is called childish longing. Childish, like a child, longing, desire. In vain, without any success. In vain, futile. In vain, futile. So which particular thing is called childish longing? The thought of the roadside stand owner that day would come, time would come that a rich city dweller, who's nonchalant so far, who's very much sadist so far, will come to their roadside stand, to their shop, to their shack, only built though. Imposition of the stand is very much grotesque though, but will come one day and would make some bargain, would make some purchase from him. This is called childish longing. A child longs, desires, many times irrationally, illogically. He wants to get even the moon sometime. He wants to get even the twinkling stars sometime, which is never feasible. In the same manner, the desire of the roadside stand owner that the city people will show some generosity with him, to him, never will come that day. This longing will go in vain, will go futile, will be having no best. This would not be taking place any time, any day. Therefore, the poet's tone is a bit annoying, a bit exasperating, a bit dejected, a bit dismal there. Sometimes I feel myself that I can't tolerate, I can't bear, I can't see the plight of the sorrows, the suffering of these poor rustics there. The thought of so much childish longing in vain there. The childish longing is the desire, the wish of the roadside stand owner that city dweller will come. City people, rich city person will come and will purchase something, but this will remain an unfulfilled desire. It will remain a childish longing which will not get the ground of reality ever. It will go in vain, it will never happen. It will never happen there. The sadness that lurks near the open window there. The sadness of the roadside stand owner. And why is sad? Because no one has turned up to him to make any purchase, to make any bargain, to buy anything from him. Therefore he's sad. And there, sitting in his stand or a shack near the window. Near the window, in the hope, in the expectancy, in the aspiration that will be some person knocking at the stall, at the stand, the shack, to make some bargain. The sadness that lurks, hides, figure of speech use, personification. Figure of speech, personification. A person can hide, from someone, from something. Sadness cannot. So figure of speech, personification there. Figure of speech, personification there. The sadness that hides near the open window there. Why the window is open? In the expectancy, he is waiting for some time of a car will come and stops in front of him. Therefore, the window is always open in the expectation, in the aspiration, in the hope that someone will come. That waits all day in almost open prayer. entire day, from 24 into 7, from morning, from dawn to dusk. They are in the wait of someone who will come and will make some purchase there. Underline the phrase open prayers. Open prayers are the genuine prayers of which needs mercy to be implored upon, to be bestowed upon there. Open prayers next to begging. Open prayers next to begging. Open prayers next to begging. First meaning. Second, open prayers here refers to the genuine prayers of these poor roadsides in honor to Almighty God, that someone must come to their door to make some purchase. Though it is more looking like a begging. It is more looking like a begging. Though it is very much genuine and needs the mercy, needs the compassion, needs sympathy to be bestowed upon. It is called open prayers there. For the squeal of brakes, what is the sadness? What is the expectation is mentioned here? The roadside stand owner wishes to listen the squeal of brake, the sound of brake, the squeal of brake. If a car is moving very fast and suddenly stops outside the roadside stand, obviously we will be able to hear the sound of the brake applied there. This is called squeal of brakes, and the sound squeal of brake signifies that someone has come, someone has stopped. So he wishes to listen which sound? The squealing of the brakes. Who wants to listen which sound? The roadside stand owner who has been waiting of someone to come to make some purchase with him, has been waiting someone there since morning. He wishes to listen the sound of the brake applied by some person when he stops his car to make some purchase with him, from him. The sadness that lurks near the personification, right? That waits all day long in almost open prayer. 4. The squeal of brakes he wants to listen. The sound of a stopping car. Obviously it would be squeal of brakes when the car stops. Of all the 1,000 selfish cars that pass. Selfish cars. Selfish cars. Cars cannot be selfish. Cars cannot be selfish. But the people who are sitting inside of the cars, they are selfish. Therefore, the selfish cars connoting, signifying those self-centered, single-minded people, city people. Always, whenever such words are used, you have to mean that it is indicating, it is beckoning, indicating the rich, nonchalant, callous, indifferent city people always. That waits all day almost open prayers of a stopping car. Of all the thousands of selfish cars that pass on the road, none of them stops. Sometimes someone does stop. And what he does when he stops the car in front of the roadside stand? Of all the 1,000 selfish cars that pass, just one to inquire what a farmer's prices are. Sometime, occasionally, though rarely, someone stops, but he inquires the prices of the goods exhibited in the stand there. He just confirms, the person, the passerby who stops his car, confirms, okay, inquires, okay, what is the price of this, what is the price of that, and just goes off without making any purchase, without making any bargain. First one who stops, he just confirms, inquires about the prices of the goods, offers exhibited on the stand by the roadside stand owner, and departs there. And one did stop, but only to plow up the grass there. Plow up the grass in using the yard to back and turn around there. The second one who stops his car in order to get his car back. He might have misled the road. He may not be going, he may not be wishing to move forward his car towards a certain direction there, ahead of it. Therefore, he uses the open yard of the roadside stand in order to get his car back. and the grass yard which is there, because the roadside stand owner is actually is a farmer also, so he might have spread his harvest, his grain, his grass, okay, in the open yard. Therefore he takes his car back, and that car was crushing when he took the car back, so the car was crushing, moving on, trampling on the spread harvest, and he gets back again towards his desired destination. Even the second one doesn't make any transaction, any deal, any bargain, any purchase with the roadside stand. Last two lines for the day, and then class over dear. And one did stop, but only to plow up the grass in using the yard to back and turn around, and another to ask the way to where it was bound. He was going to bound, going to bound, going to. The third one stops, not to purchase anything. He might have forgotten the way he wishes to go to. Therefore, he confirms whether he was moving on the right road or not from the roadside stand owner, because he was a local guy, he was a native guy. Therefore he inquires whether he was moving on the right way or not. He confirms from the roadside stand owner and moves away, departs. Chali gaya, gone, bye bye, without making any purchase. Then, and another to ask, could they sell it a gallon of gas there? The fourth one who stops, he wants to purchase some gallon of gas there. How irrational the person can be. Can't he see that this roadside stand owner doesn't offer such things there? Gallon of gas, maybe some gas he would be needing for his as a fuel in his car. They couldn't this crossly, angrily, they could not give the gallon of gas, because they don't have. They have only the locally produced cheap goods. Gallon of gas is an expensive thing. How the city people can ever think that these poor dwellers of the villages can have the gallon of gas there? They could not have. They had none. Why they could not offer the gallon of gas? They could not sell the gallon of gas because they never have that. Irrational demand by the city dweller who stops his car once. They had none. Didn't it see? They can't see. Can't they see that this poor person from the village area doesn't possess, can't afford this expensive thing like gallon of gas, a kind of fuel. Thank you, dear. Next time we'll be having the end of the poem.